This video is to make the naming flip chart. If you are watching this, you may have made this already in class on Wednesday, but if you need some more help or you want to make sure you did it right, then watch this video. Okay, so I have my flip chart here. The staples, are like up at the top, right? And on all the tabs, we're going to be writing questions, and make sure you put your name on it so that I can return it to you if I need to. Don't forget, at any time, you are more than welcome to pause if I'm going too fast, but I'm trying to make this as short as possible, okay? So the first question, and this needs to be visible on your tab that you need to write, is hydrogen first. The reason why we're asking is hydrogen first is because we need to determine what type of compound we're dealing with. Are we dealing with an ionic, a molecular, or an acid? Okay, and one of the three types has hydrogen first. So after you write as hydrogen first, then go ahead and open up so that it says right here is hydrogen first at the bottom. But now we need to make it into two categories. The two categories are yes and no. It's a yes or no question. Now, there's multiple ways to do that. If you have the fold, you can do the yes on top, then vote no on the bottom, however you want to do it. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible to figure out. So, yes means that its type of compound is an acid. An acid if it has an H in front. Okay? Now, I don't have very much space up in my little area, so this should all be written right here. Okay, we're going to go ahead. Remember, acids have a table that you use to write their names. So the table went that you have your anion ending, and then your acid name. So again, this is all fitting on the yes section. We have three anion endings were IDE, ITE, and ATE. Okay? So IDE was the one with hydro. So we had hydro, blank ic, acid. Then ITE, there's no hydro in front, but we had OUS at the end, acid. And ATE, no hydro, but ic at the end, acid. Okay, so as long as you know what the anion ending name is, then you should be able to plug it in and figure it out. So let's also in the yes area write an example. So an example would be H2SO4. The anion is what comes after the H. So in this case, it's the SO4. Okay, and the name of SO4 is sulfate. So we would take off the 8 and add ic. Now sulfur-containing compounds are a little special, so it's technically going to be the whole word sulfur on the line, and then ic after that. Sulfuric acid is the name of H2SO4, but that's a special case. Okay? Now, let's say that we answered the question, is hydrogen first, as a no. Then that means that the type will either be ionic or molecular, but we need some more information to figure that out. So need more info. So we need to ask ourselves another question to determine if it is ionic or molecular. So this is the end of the acid flip is hydrogen first question. Okay? The next question we're going to ask ourselves, so this is on the next tab down, does it contain a metal? So once you write that down, then go ahead and open up your chart. I think okay, sorry. This is where we are now. Let's just pretend this isn't here. Okay, pretend that's not there. Does it contain a metal is at the bottom. Okay, yes or no? Again. So yes, it contains a metal. That type of compound is ionic. Some things that we need to be careful around when it's ionic. We need to make sure we don't use prefixes like the di and the tri and the tetra. We need to watch for Roman numerals. And the 5 elements that get Roman numerals are Cu, copper, iron, nickel, tin, and lead. And remember that the Roman numeral Rn stands for Roman numeral tells the charge. Not how many there are, it tells the charge. Okay, so, and then we also want to watch for polyatomic ions. So I'm going to write Pi. You can write out the word polyatomic ion if you want to. We're going to talk more about polyatomic ions in the last one, but just for now, just write that. Okay, so now that's all the yeses. Okay, I'm going to just erase this part because I need more room for the nose. But so let's say that I put the yeses on the top side. Now I'm going to the nose on the bottom side. So I hope you're following along. Okay, so let me just erase all this off of here. Okay, so now let's talk about no, there's no metal. Now there's 2 cases. We have one polyatomic ion, that's a cation, that won't show a metal in the compound. So, and that one is ammonium. So you have to ask yourself, if it, no, it does not have a metal, does it contain ammonium? Which is an H4 plus 1. If it contains ammonium, then it's still going to be ionic. This is the 1% chance that it doesn't contain a metal, but it's still ionic. So yes tells you that it's ionic. So you should use ionic format for the name. So like ammonium chlorate or ammonium nitrate or whatever. Format, not formate. Sorry. That's a typo. Okay. Now, what if it's a no, it doesn't contain a metal, and no, it doesn't contain ammonium? Then the type is molecular. So molecular is only nonmetals, no metals whatsoever. When you use molecular, then you need to use the prefixes. And I don't have very much space on here. Okay, I'm just trying to do my best here, but you can write all the prefixes in. So mono is 1, di is 2, tri is 3, tetra for 4. Again, you're writing these somewhere near the molecular, so you know what that means. Penta 5, hexa is 6, hepta for 7, octa for 8, nona for 9, and deca for 10. Okay, so include these prefixes so you don't forget them. You don't accidentally put like 5 for hepta because you messed up. All right, and also remember on molecular that the second ion or the second element changes to IDE ending. So like we call it carbon dioxide, not carbon dioxygen. Okay, so that is all we figured out. Now we know if it's ionic, we know if it's what to do, we know what to do if it's molecular, what to do, and we know if it's an acid, what to do. Okay, the last tab at the bottom, we're just going to do some polyatomic ion hints. I don't know what else to call it, so that's what we're calling it today. Okay, so polyatomic ion hints is the last thing. So pretend this isn't here. Polyatomic ion hints. Okay, now the 2 categories we have for polyatomic ion hints is how many elements are involved. So we have only 2 elements as a category. And then the other category is more than 2. Elements. Okay, so if you only have 2 elements, then that does not contain no polyatomic ions. So they're from the periodic table. From periodic table for PT. Pi is polyatomic ion, PT is periodic table. The second one changes to IgE, no matter what type it is. Now let's give an example of that. So this can also go on your flip chart. Let's have SRF2. Now, go back to the previous one. Does it contain a metal? Yes. Strontium is a metal. It's on the left side of the stair-step line. So that tells me that since it has a metal, then this is an ionic compound. So we use the ionic name. So we don't use prefixes. So the correct answer for the name is strontium fluoride. If you put difluoride, you're doing it wrong because it's ionic with a metal, so there is no prefix necessary. Okay, so SRF2 is called strontium fluoride. Now, it has more than 2 elements, that it contains a polyatomic ion, 1 or more. And so then you need to use the name for the polyatomic ion. So for example, this can go in your flip chart. Al2, or Al parentheses NO2 parentheses 3. Remember, polyatomic ions can sometimes be in parentheses, and that's what can help you point that out. This would be called aluminum nitrite. And again, this is also ionic because it has a metal, which is aluminum. Okay, so hopefully this helps you. You need to ask yourself these questions as you're looking at different compounds to help yourself out.